Hey, welcome in to another episode of the Football is King podcast. Shout out to our boy Tommy DeVito, the passing
Tommy
Paisano,
Cutlets.
getting another win
Hey, wait.
in the NFL.
His agent, this is super uncultured of me, but
Uh-oh.
isn't Opa not Italian? He said Opa after the touchdown, the agent, when they panned to him. He
Yeah,
said,
pretty sure that's
after
Greek.
he kissed the father. He said,
It's
Opa! I read it.
You might think that way.
It's all Mediterranean. That's close
It's all
enough.
Mediterranean.
It's in the area. Maybe they say it too. Who knows?
I immediately was wondering, is this guy a fraud? Is he a fugazi?
That's not a real human being.
If my wife wasn't on a phone call right now, I would ask her. She's been to Italy. Maybe they said it while she was over there. All right, but yeah, welcome in, y'all. We're going to talk all things Week 14 in the NFL. Congratulations for all of our loyal listeners. You're getting this podcast a day earlier than normal because we did not do a college football podcast this week. We'll probably get back to that next week because we got bowl games. So there you go. There are no games, nothing really to talk about. I know that everyone wants to hear our amazing opinions on the Western Kentucky Old Dominion in the famous Toastery Bowl.
Watch out.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Not one of the receivers. Watch out.
I don't know. We might not do a college football
Yeah.
podcast next week either because whatever. We got one of their wide receivers
Yeah.
Wide
Oh.
receiver.
from
He's
who?
like one
Western
of the-
Kentucky or Old Dominion?
Old Dominion. He's like one of the best
Probably not.
division, whatever he is. I don't know.
All right.
Opa is a term used in multiple European countries
There you go.
and in the Jewish community as
Ah.
a celebration of life.
That guy was definitely Jewish. I'm not.
He was also definitely celebrating life, is the comment that Shane definitely was saying. He didn't say what he actually said because that would be slightly anti-Semitic. But what he said, he was celebrating life. Okay, we're gonna get right into it because there's a lot to talk about. Because we're getting towards that time where it might be time to play a little "Who Makes the Playoffs" predictor at the end of the podcast today. Because we're getting down to the wire. I believe we currently still have 30 teams can make the playoffs. Now,
4 of those are from the NFC South.
I was gonna say that's gonna end very quickly. But
the Panthers got to be eliminated.
Well, okay.
the
3.
Panthers and the Patriots are the only 2 teams eliminated.
Okay.
Every other team is still in the hunt, technically.
The Patriots got mathematically eliminated finally?
Yes. They only have 3 wins, and then the AFC, that is not going to get the job done. All right, let's talk about the team at the top of the AFC to start it off, though. The Ravens won a game on a walk-off punt return, one of the most electric plays in sports. But has anyone actually watched that play?
There's a lot of penalties that occurred.
Minimum 4 penalties on that play. Like, it's really bad. But you know what? As to not contradict myself later on in this podcast, at the end of the game, let's swallow the whistles a little bit there, refs. Good job. You see how we swallowed the whistles and we had a really fun, exciting walk-off touchdown? Good times.
Yeah, except for they were pretty egregious.
I agree. Yeah, I probably should have came back. I still think the Ravens probably win that game, but I just want to say hats off to the Rams. I mean, the Rams are technically in the playoff push, but I mean, they went and played a pretty good Baltimore team pretty well. Scored a lot of points against a so-called great defense. So the Rams are starting to figure it out.
Stafford is kind of good.
Can we backtrack on something
Sure.
since we didn't do this is not related.
It's not related, and Elon said no.
I feel for someone. Oh man, Elon, he can suck.
Whoa.
Ariza or whatever, the ex-Bills punter, he has now been dropped from the civil lawsuit. So this dude got absolutely hosed. He didn't get criminally
I
charged.
bet he'll
and
be
then was
punting in the league
civil
next
lawsuit.
year.
I hope so. I surely hope so because a civil lawsuit's easy to get involved in. You know what I mean? Any idiot can get involved in a civil lawsuit. And now they've dropped him from that. So this dude is like, I mean, his life got bamboozled, like legit.
Yeah, a little bit. Not a good look for the justice system and for the NFL, but
The
No.
girl that said it should probably be criminally charged.
Yeah,
He wasn't even at the party, apparently. So.
Yeah, I mean, even if she doesn't get criminally charged, he can like civilly sue her.
Well, he said, I guess,
they're saying
as
that
part of the plea,
voluntarily dismissed him.
Yeah, she dismissed it, so I guess he can't. But he could sue the lawyer. But the lawyer immunity when he says
Yeah.
stuff in court, so it doesn't.
Okay.
Apparently, I was reading.
He'll find a way, or he'll be able to sue the NFL for kicking him out of the league without like their investigation was obviously bad.
That's crazy too. Like before any investigation even happened, he was already dropped.
And
he was
the main.
I get like putting him like on suspension or whatever. Like, hey, we're gonna suspend you.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because like there's an ongoing investigation. Like we don't want you playing in the league.
Isn't that what the commissioner exempts list is for? Is to pretty much indefinitely suspend you till an investigation.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how that works with your pay. Like, you could be on that list, but maybe you're not getting paid, and so then he can sue for all his back wages, plus emotional distress.
Part of it should be like if you get put on the commissioner exempt list, and I don't know what the rules are on it, but like if you get found like this guy, like if you get found innocent in two different, they dropped the charges for the criminal case, and then he still was gonna go to civil court, and then the woman volunteered.
There was no charges ever brought.
Yeah, you never. Yeah, you're never found innocent.
Yeah. But no charges are brought, and then she was still going to sue him, and then decides to voluntarily drop it against him. I mean, that you should be able to get back wages for that, because I think he had just signed a contract right before all that. Like he had
he's probably still on his rookie deal.
Drafted.
Yeah, he had just been drafted. He's a rookie.
Yeah, he had just been drafted.
Oh, I thought.
He had a contract, obviously, but he was on a rookie deal. He was not making very much money.
Still,
an NFL player.
But for a punter, money's money at some point.
Also, he was a drafted punter.
Yeah,
he was not an undrafted free agent. So
yeah, that's good money.
But I think as a podcast, to be responsible, all we can say is we don't really know much about the situation.
No,
but it sucks to suck for that guy. It sucks to be that guy. That's rough. That's a real rough. Unlucky. Also, that girl's a scumbag. There you go. I think we can all agree on those things. All right, let's talk actual football. You're good.
I see that. That's terrible.
It was topical. We were talking about punts. There we go. From the team that is dominating the AFC currently, let's go to the team that's dominating the NFC currently, and that is that the 49ers are definitely the best team in football.
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly close.
Even though they didn't even look good this weekend. They started slow. Or as I said, they did not start slow. They started with a 72-yard run by Christian McCaffrey. Their defense started slow, though, and the Seahawks scored a bunch early and then just held them to 0 for the rest of the game. Great.
Supposedly,
but was it
I read or heard somewhere that on a neutral field they'll be 5-point favorites versus anyone they play.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy.
I don't know. I don't know how they would be put against like the Ravens or the Dolphins. The Dolphins, actually, I think they would be more than 5 points favorites but
the
I don't know.
Ravens would probably be the closest, but
because the Ravens are physical enough maybe to handle them up front. But it's possible.
I think it was some Vegas handicapper that was saying that like they would be 5-point favorites over anyone. The Ravens would probably be, obviously the closest, which they're also the AFC leaders, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Am I crazy to think that the Ravens aren't actually that great at football?
I still don't. I'm not a believer in the Ravens.
Every team, I think every single major contender has their problems, but they also have games that they look amazing. Like the Ravens will look great, but then this past weekend, like the Ravens did not look great. They got taken to overtime by a team with a losing record.
I could see the playoffs this year being absolutely crazy. I could see it.
No, that game was because they didn't have a defense.
To be fair, Lamar threw for 300 yards.
Yeah. I mean,
you're not going to convince Johnny not to hate Lamar.
But the 49ers are nothing if Debo is taken away.
Well, I mean, you could say that about a lot of teams.
No. It's one specific player.
Well, we've seen this year about
Or if Trent Williams isn't healthy.
Also,
go down.
The 49ers has had games when their defense is fully healthy where they've given up 30-plus points. Like, their defense can be got.
Yeah, I do think – I mean, Debo is important, obviously.
Yeah.
Ideally, he stays healthy, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I think their
49ers
defense. I think more is their defense can be had. You can say that the Eagles' defense is trash, and their offense is pedestrian this year.
The Eagles are the worst N3 team in
They're
the NFL.
currently the Vikings from last year.
yes.
Yeah, I think their point was actually positive, but barely.
The Cowboys, if you get any pressure against their offensive line, their offense falls apart. They have no run game.
That's a fact.
I think
Their secondary also. I mean, they do have the most pick sixes in 1 year ever.
Yeah, but DeRon Blank keeps getting burned deep.
If you can block their defensive line for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you're pretty good. And then the AFC, I mean, it's just a crapshoot. I mean, the Dolphins, each team is just a yo-yo. You never know what you're going to get, except for the Chiefs. You know the Chiefs won't score points.
I don't know how to put a number on this, and it's impossible to, but in the history, the past 20 years, I could see there being more upsets this playoffs than any I could recall.
This is definitely the year where you're
Really
expecting a New York Giants 6th seed to like creep in and win the Super Bowl. Like, it's going to be the Bills. The Bills are going to somehow find a way in the playoffs and make a run.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one team I would not want to play.
I still don't think they're very good, but they
No, but you want to meet them like if they're going to end up being the 6 or 7 seed. That's not the team you want to be facing if you're a 2 seed.
no.
Yeah, you definitely don't, and it's definitely not going to be anyone from the NFC South.
Oh my gosh! But if
Oh,
playoff game,
disrespect.
I'll be there to watch Cowboys unless they end up winning the division.
And you'll get cheap food.
Yeah, always.
All right, let's keep it moving. Speaking of teams that are supposed to be making the playoffs, the Lions lost to the Bears.
Lions are also in the Vikings category.
Now, I told y'all.
That was the most accurate Austin has ever been about a football player.
Because I watched the games. They can't stop a running quarterback, which is why the Lions have zero chance of winning a Super Bowl.
I think the Lions are dead.
Also, the Lions are – we talked about this as a podcast last week or 2 weeks ago. They're the reverse Lions from last year. They started great, and they are falling apart.
Their defense has gotten worse every single week.
Their defense gets worse every week, and Jared Goff can't play outdoors. He can't.
Can he not hold a football?
I don't know. He can't play outdoors.
The defense is what I don't get because they have done so much to try and hone that defense together.
No, they haven't. Their defense is slow as crap. Their defense is so slow.
Aaron Glenn is playing himself out of a job. Everyone was talking about how good of a coach Aaron Glenn was last year, and now he's looking worse and worse every game.
No, but it seems
both middle linebackers are slow. Both their corners are slow. They have no speed besides Hutchinson.
Like the past 10 years, that's what they've drafted more than anybody is defense.
It doesn't matter. They draft people who aren't good at defense. It doesn't matter who you draft. They're just bad.
Yeah, they're getting worse.
I agree with you. I'm just saying it just seems like that's the one thing they tried to make good, and it has backfired completely on them.
I went from thinking that the Lions at least had a chance to win a single playoff game for the first time in years. I don't think they have.
Yeah.
It'll be at home. That's the only good.
And I mean the 6 and 7 seed from the NFC is not going to be very good.
Still.
Now, I mean, it's not a guarantee, but like the Lions can beat the Packers. The Lions can beat the Rams.
Yes. Can they stop them? I don't know.
Yeah. If I'm the Lions, I'd rather play the Packers than the Rams.
Oh, I would too. Stafford will tear you up.
Stafford will Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua will just have a field day. Also, that Williams kid they got playing running back now is actually playing pretty decent over the past few weeks.
Well, they all said he was going to be good. But look, the Lions should have beat the Saints by 50, and they almost lost. So
I think what we need to talk about more from this game is the Bears. What's going on with the Bears? Are they getting good?
No, they're doing exactly what they did last year, where they're going to give the Bears fans another offseason, a little bit of hope.
A glimmer of hope, and then crush it.
Yeah, they're giving them Justin Fields is giving you that like little that little window into what he could be, and it turns out he's still not good.
Their defense is playing pretty good over the past 6 weeks.
It kind of makes me think that Fields and maybe the whole offense, if they have any they can't play free, and now they're just playing free because they know they're out of it.
So then the question is for next year.
Which is what happened last year.
The Bears are going to have the number 1 pick because the Panthers are going to have to give it away. So are the Bears going to take Caleb Williams?
I don't like Caleb Williams enough to take him, but
I don't think they will.
I think they're.
I don't think they should. I don't think they should.
But I would
not. Is Caleb Williams that much of an upgrade over Justin Fields?
No, I don't think so.
Apparently, but I think
you also have the situation where Caleb Williams is like a friggin' basket case. He wants ownership. He wants all sorts of shit.
I'm still thinking that was fake.
He's never gonna get that anyway. So he knows that.
I just don't think he's that great of a quarterback. I mean, that's
one because if he gets ownership, he can't play. So
yeah.
Also, there's
but you know what I mean. He's a diva. He wants everything. He wants a lot.
He paints his fingernails. Okay.
It actually makes me think that he's less confident in himself than we think that he would demand all that up front.
Yeah.
If you believe in yourself, then
I have no faith in him. I mean, after the crying to his mom in the stands after his 4th loss on the year. Because he's going to lose the Heisman. He already won the Heisman. Who gives a crap, man? What are you doing?
Also, I know his defense was bad, but man, he played pretty well. They scored a lot of points, but he's throwing to wide open receivers.
There was also a lot of games that he did not play very great. But
look, how many quarterbacks has Lincoln Riley coached that have panned out in the NFL? One, maybe, if you call Jalen Hurts a success. That's the only one.
Jalen Hurts is definitely a success.
Okay. I would agree
Kyler Murray is also always going to be considered a success just because he doesn't have the wins and things because your team is just awful every year. He made it to his second contract and got a huge deal. That's a success. Daniel Jones is a successful NFL QB. He got paid $40 million a year.
Baker, you have to say Baker's been successful.
For sure.
He's started for 90% of his
career.
Won
a playoff game.
Yeah,
but okay. I agree, but
there's not a single coach that has 4 great quarterbacks in their arsenal.
None of his quarterbacks have been elite, but they have been successful. All of them.
That's what I'm saying. That's Austin. Thank you. That's what I'm getting.
To the point.
If you're the Bears, that's what you need. Did you see this? I saw the stat today. Tom Brady has more yards, touchdowns, and wins in his 40s alone than every Bears quarterback combined.
That's crazy.
In franchise history.
If I'm the Bears, I'm trading that pick away.
There's no way that stat is true. But there's maybe it's better than the Bears' best quarterback of all time. I don't know.
2 decades or something. I can believe that.
If it is true, though, holy.
But I mean, the Bears are notorious for having bad quarterbacks. The Bears won Super Bowls with horrendous quarterbacks. They just had amazing defenses. The 85 Bears offense was terrible.
Hey, Jay Cutler slung the pill a little bit in the Bears.
To the wrong team, yeah.
Jay was jaying.
Jay was jaying, and it was very fun to watch, but not good if you're Bears. All right, the Bears are a team to watch out for, though. The Bears are on a little bit of a hot streak, and they've got 4 games that you would say they should win 2 of them. We'll see where they go from there.
Look at the haul that the Panthers got for that first round pick. I mean, if I'm the Bears got whatever it is, you trade that pick away and get another haul in, and
no, you have the number 1 pick again. What are you doing? Don't do that.
Who you go get?
They at least got to trade Justin Fields away. They got to get rid of him.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
No, you don't take another receiver. Receivers aren't going to fix this team. Offensive line,
yeah. You go.
That's offensive and defensive line.
You trade for a couple.
Can't handle using the first pick on an offensive line.
Dude,
okay, that's fine.
The fan base would lose their fucking
Okay.
minds.
Trade away your first round pick, get you a veteran offensive lineman and another top 10 pick. So, like, as of right now, who would that be? Hold on. Just
quarterback.
start rattling off who needs. I mean, obviously, the Panthers are not going to take a quarterback, and they don't have the Patriots.
They could do it.
Okay, so go get one of the Patriots, good offensive lineman.
The Patriots might already be the number 2 pick.
The Saints. We would do it. I mean,
The Raiders would definitely go get somebody.
All right, the Cardinals won't do it. The Commanders won't do it. The Giants
Mm,
No, they paid.
can't do it. They just pay Dave Jones. Okay, that's what I'm intrigued about. Like Drake May declared for the draft. Which of these top 10 teams are going to take a quarterback? They all have their quarterback in theory. Like the Panthers took Bryce Young. There's no way you already bail on Bryce Young.
Nope.
The Cardinals have Kyler, and everything's looking decent there. The Commanders have Sam Howell, who has played fine. The Bears have Justin. So, I mean, it's got to be the Bears are getting rid of Justin Fields.
For the Saints, I love Eric McCoy, but I'll trade you Eric McCoy for the first pick in the draft.
The Saints aren't going to have that high a draft pick.
Well, we'll have like another 10 or 13 somewhere in there.
I mean, that's not great.
But they've also got the number 3 pick.
Why?
Don't they get they get their pick and Carolina's?
Carolina lost both of their first round picks?
I thought that's what they got.
guys, this is easy. We just
Who
look.
got?
Yeah,
the
Google
Panthers
that.
Got Carolina's pick. I'm
The Bears got their pick.
Is it the Jets? Is the answer the Jets?
Maybe the Jets do it, but they got Rodgers.
Yeah, but you're getting Rodgers back up when he retires next year. You're getting the kid to sit underneath him.
That's
Like,
what Green Bay.
That's what you do with Drake May.
I wouldn't
the
be against
Jets.
it.
The Jets are going all in on getting offensive line to help them, not get rid of offensive line.
They need some linemen.
Oh, you can get rid of Mekhi Becton if you're the Jets for sure. He sucks. The Raiders.
I could see the Raiders doing it.
I don't know, man. It's there's just a lot of teams I don't see taking a quarterback this year. But like this is the best QB draft in a long time. I'm very curious to see how the draft goes.
Yeah, remember when we heard like 8 quarterbacks would be taken in the first round?
Didn't Danny O say like 8 in the first 15?
I think so. Something crazy.
No, it was Schefter. Schefter said that the line is at 8 quarterbacks taken in the first round, and he would take
I think
over.
we're down to about 3.
If that.
In the first round, I could see Jaden Daniels going late in the first round.
So the Bears. Okay, the Bears
Daniels is gonna be terrible in the pros.
Oh, I agree.
He's gonna be awful.
In the trade I got it. In the trade with Carolina for Carolina to go get Bryce Young, the Bears got last year. They got the 9th pick, the 61st pick.
All they did was take their pick.
Carolina's first round.
All they had up is
Carolina's first round in 2024 and Carolina's second round in 2025. So that means the Bears got the first and the 3rd pick right now in the draft.
Why do they have the 3rd?
Because Carolina's is the first pick.
But the Bears are not the 3rd worst team in the league.
No.
Okay, whatever they are then. The first and the 4th.
All the mock.
No, the Bears are going way up, Shane. The Bears have 5 wins.
All the current mock drafts have
Yes,
them.
they've won like 4 of their past 5 games. The Bears are playing very good football right now.
They might have
they
might be like the number 10 pick.
Okay, but still, 1st and 10.
That's what I'm saying. You can trade away.
13 hours ago, 24/7 Sports did a mock draft, and they have the Bears picking 3 first-round picks in the first 5 picks.
What?
That's insane.
So they're thinking they're going to trade away that first pick for like 2.
Do what the Houston.
Well, no, you can't be doing mock drafts because like there's so much season left. You have no idea. Like the Bears probably are not going to be a top 5 pick.
If you go and look up all the mock drafts on all these websites, they have the Bears taking the first pick.
they
Well, then
could trade.
they're just making
Taking
trades.
the fourth.
Yeah, because they would have to do what the Houston Texans done this year to get the second and third pick.
If I am the Bears, I am trading away the first pick, and I am trying to get a team's that's in the top 12 to 15. I want their first round pick this year and their second round pick this year. That's what I would be doing. I'd keep Justin Fields because, I mean, he is bad, but
They're gonna stick with them.
I think he's building a rapport with Moore. Moore has started to come alive toward the end of the season. The defense is starting to play pretty good, and you just bolster the areas of need in that 10 to 15. You're going to get great talent there. If you need to get you a solid linebacker, they'll be available. If you need a good wide receiver in the 10 to 15 range, they will still be there. They'll be on the board.
Oh, yeah.
It might not be Marvin Harrison Jr., but there are great wide receivers that make a difference.
You're going to get value.
I mean, heck, the Chiefs have proven that you can get good value in, the fourth round? Like, Rashee Rice is a decent wide receiver. Unfortunately, he is the only decent wide receiver that the Chiefs have.
Unfortunately, he plays opposite of Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it going. We just spent like 15 minutes on the Bears. Let's talk about another team that is just coming back to life. Are the Bengals going to make the playoffs?
I would think if they do, that's hilarious.
I mean,
Props.
Really, Browning doesn't have to do that much. He has 3 of the best wide receivers in football. Just throw him a football.
I'm saying props to Taylor because the dude.
Don't ever say that on this podcast ever again. That man is an idiot.
I'm with him because he's literally said, just throw to Jamar Chase behind the line of scrimmage and let him run, and it's working. Throw it to Higgins and let him run, and it's working.
They have a favorable 4 final games besides one game.
I mean, they got to play the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, they've got Vikings, Steelers, Chiefs, and Browns.
Don't ever say that the Bengals have a favorable game with the Browns. The Browns have their number every single time.
Yeah,
maybe Browning's different. Maybe that's the Burrow.
Also, playing Steelers is also. I mean, those two. The end of their schedule could be brutal, but it also could be. I mean, the Steelers are terrible. So
I'd almost be disappointed if I was a
that's
Bengals
what I'm
fan.
saying.
You want to make the playoffs, but also you have no chance to win the Super Bowl, and you kind of like wasted season. Kind of want to have it.
Yeah, for my Bengals fans out there, how much does this diminish Joe Burrow's legacy that just anyone can walk in and still win games? Like,
he's a system quarterback.
Right.
He's not a system quarterback. He's got 3 great wide receivers. It's the same thing with Tua, right? Tua last night again on Monday Night Football, the second Tyreek goes out, the Miami's offense comes to a standstill.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything. They looked terrible.
Yeah,
if the Bengals make the playoffs, that would be hilarious to me.
I don't think they will, though. There's like a 5-way tie at 7-6 in the AFC, and I do think that their schedule at the end is a little bit brutal. Jonathan just lost in 2K again.
Oh, going into double
Browning has made
overtime.
himself some money though.
Double overtime.
Yeah, Browning's gonna get a job after this.
Yeah, he's gonna be the next Chase Daniel after he's had to have been in the league for 8 years, and just nobody knew he even existed. I didn't even know he existed.
Yeah, hey, good for him, man. Being Chase Daniel is my dream.
I swear that dude was in the playoffs in college, like in 2016 or something like that.
All right, that was good. That's a solid 30 minutes on 4 games. Go team. Now it's time to get into the fun. This is everyone's favorite part of the podcast. All of our returning listeners keep telling us that this is the part that they love the most because of the passion that we have about our own team. So we're going to talk about our 5 NFL teams. And some of you might be out there like, wait, there's only 4 of you. You have 5 teams? But yes, we do. And we're going to start. Jonathan, I know you're in double overtime, but press pause, buddy.
I'd rather not talk about it.
Are you playing live or are you playing against a computer?
No, I'm playing against a computer. All right.
All right, sweet. Press pause because we're going to roast you for a long time. The Las Vegas Raiders lost 3-0 this weekend. And yes, scoring 0 points is not ideal. In fact, it's impossible to win when you score 0 points. But my real problem with this is you scored 0 points after a bye week. This is off a bye.
Yeah,
You can't do that. You can't do that.
It's bad.
People were like, "Hey, we're gonna get Pierce a job. He's doing a great job with the Raiders."
Yeah,
he scored 0 points off a bye week.
Hey, as a crowd, -2.5 for the Chargers, better. I appreciate your services from your team, Jonathan.
Even
0.
Even Jeff Saturday scored points as a coach in all of his games.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's real bad.
I actually don't know if that's true. I just assumed that Jeff Saturday scored a point.
I'm sure
in all
it-
his
I'm
games.
sure
Watch
it
that game?
I'm sure it is.
Mr. Davis, do you think he's kicking himself for not hiring?
Oh,
Frank
he's
Bisaccia?
losing his shit right now.
Frank Bisaccia.
Oh no,
was the guy-
he's regretting.
First of all, it's Rich Bisaccia. Second of all, Rich Bisaccia is going to possibly lose his job again this year because he's being terrible.
Yeah, he's gone.
But I mean, it's bad. We got a bad situation going on.
It's bad. I'm very
You know-
excited for the Chiefs to play them.
The best
Even
things,
Donald
the
might
best thing, the best thing we have going on is Tom Brady's part owner, and maybe we can just convince him to be the coach. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing.
Coach owner.
I'm open for all ideas.
What I don't get is how the Davis family are some of the poorest owners in the NFL, but surely they've got to be making so much money off the tickets in the new stadium. Like everyone wants to travel to Vegas. You would think they would be able to jack up the prices and
They
make
do
a
sell
fortune.
tickets. They do sell.
It's
tickets.
mildly impressive in today's NFL.
It does seem to not matter that we are absolute dog shit in the ticket sales section. So
Well, because all of the away fans want to come.
yeah, and we have loyal fans. That's the good part. But we
I mean, they're all still in Oakland, but yeah.
you know, it's just we're in a bit of a struggle here. We're gonna go get Penix, Michael Penix Jr. So
Oh, I hope so. He sucks. Oh, please do. Please do.
That's literally the only name that is going around any Raider page, any fan conversation.
So no Jimmy G? No love for keeping Jimmy G?
No, Jimmy G's gone. I think Jimmy G has a better chance at his bringing back his porn career, maybe getting into the adult industry.
I mean, Jimmy G on OnlyFans would make $1 billion.
He would make a lot of money, dude. That dude
He's
is a handsome.
We can all say he's a handsome son of a gun.
He's a handsome son of a bitch. But
He has a jawline like a Greek god.
yeah, I mean, I'm a little mad that we're just going to use 2 years in a row to draft quarterbacks, and it's just we're not good. We're not good.
Yeah, that's
We
kind of a bad spot.
we let Josh McDaniels kick out our franchise quarterback for really no apparent reason, and then
Dude, yeah, how like awful of a human being is Josh McDaniels is what we're learning out of this. Like, is he like a Nazi or something? What is going on? Everyone hates him.
that guy
Allegedly. I said, is he a like something's wrong?
He obviously hates Mormons.
He hates
He
everyone.
hates Jesus. And he hates good American families because that man hated Derek Carr and kicked him out. And Shane can
Derek
say
Carr
what
a
he wants.
Mormon?
No.
I
Oh,
think he is.
what? Is there?
I've watched him drop plenty of F-bombs on the sidelines this year.
Mormons can cuss too, Shane.
No, y'all, the Mormons wear funky undies, the whole shebang.
I think I've Googled this before, and I don't know if I ever got an answer.
He's not
I
Mormon.
just
He preaches
assume
out
I
he's.
mean, he's religious, but he's not a Mormon.
Yeah, he
Funny,
like-
you
he's
were
like
a
a
Mormon for a hot
non-denominational
minute.
church.
What do the Mormons do?
For solid like 8 weeks, I was Mormon. Bishop Stoddard was out there.
You were a real Mormon. You were waking up at 4 a.m. every single morning.
I was out there. When you're 5'10" and blonde, you can make a lot of people do a lot of things for you. It's a hard life. She's doing well. She has a family, about 5 kids.
I bet.
Yeah.
Let's just pause here. This is from DerekCarrQB.com.
No.
This is Derek Carr's personal website. these are quotes, so no allegedly about it.
Is he
I
Mormon?
have a very no, he's not.
Not Foreman.
I have a very strong faith in God. He is the reason I play football. He has given me this special talent, and I want to use it to glorify him. I am grateful for this opportunity to further his kingdom by sharing faith on and off the football field.
Nothing
And then it just keeps going.
Nothing about John Smith in there.
You know,
Golly, Shane, can you get a name right today?
What's his name? What's his name?
John Smith is the guy from Pocahontas.
Stalin.
No.
Basically, he killed him. They both killed a bunch of people.
Oh my God.
Okay, no, very different levels of murders brought on by those two men.
I'm gonna have the Mormon Archbishop at my front door tomorrow, probably.
I mean, yeah, y'all's house growing up was already blacklisted, so.
I remember all that.
All right, let's move it on. The Raiders suck. Let's talk about another team that sucked this week, but they're going to be great next week, I guarantee you, because the Yo-Yo Falcons are back, where it's going to be good one week, up, down the next week, and good one week, and down the next week. So, good news. You're going to be good this week, Blake, and you're playing the Panthers. So, there's a win.
The Desmond Ridder experience might be over.
I mean, we talked
good for half a quarter.
talked about it on the pod last week. All you have to do, Desmond Ridder, don't turn the ball over, and you will win the game.
Didn't he have 3 of them,
Yeah.
I believe?
You want to here you want to know, here you go. Here's a good stat. You want to know what the passing, the quarterback play for that week is? Desmond Ridder stats this year. 212 for 334, 2376 yards, 9 TDs, 9 interceptions. Bryce Young, 244 for 417, 2200 yards pretty much. He's 9 interceptions. So
I mean, yeah, I just feel personally terrible for Bryce Young because his best wide receiver is Adam Thielen. So I mean, like,
also he Frank
and also his offensive line has more holes in it than Swiss cheese. So
it's much like Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer.
A lot of holes.
yeah, so if you're at the end of the year, whoever the owner is, I don't want to butcher his name too. I know he's rich, but do you tell him, hey, just let's just act like this never happened? Let's just.
I think you kind of have to act like that if you're the Panthers. You can't give up on Bryce Young. Obviously, you kind of got to act like this year was just a wash.
yeah, Blake actually brings up. I want to play a fun scenario. Who is worse of a head coach? Butthole fingering Urban Meyer, also kicking kickers. He's also kicking kickers. Remember that. Yeah. Former Texas A&M kicker, Jeff Saturday in the park, or just Frank Reich as a human being. Who's the worst? Or sorry, no, sorry. Or Josh McDaniels. Who's the worst head coach of those 3 human beings?
Urban Meyer.
Josh McDaniels.
McDaniels had 2 chances and he screwed them both up.
I mean, it's got to be Jeff Saturday.
Yeah,
now, Jeff Saturday.
Jeff
he
Saturday,
got
there was no expectation, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
That's true, but Jeff Saturday has to be the worst of those head coach.
He got put in a bad spot.
Urban Meyer did kick a player. That's still funny. Still terrible, but it's funny.
He kicked the kicker of all people. You can't kick a kicker.
I don't see the problem with kicking a player. Like, I really don't.
Hey, but you can't be kicking your most scoringest player for your team. People don't ever understand. Kickers score more points than any other player on the team.
It must have been a hard kick, too. Because
He did it. There's no way he, like, freaking roundhouse kicked this dude while he was stretching. I think it was more of a
if you're stretching, if you're stretching and your coach comes up and just kind of taps you with his foot, you're like, okay, but you don't remember that ever happening. If he kicked him hard enough, they remembered it weeks later.
If he kicked him, but he also like said something like as he kicked him, then you remember it. But
Probably.
like if he just comes by and if he comes by and taps you and is like,
Johnny,
like let's pretend like maybe Lambeau had just missed the game-winning kick, and he just like comes up and kicks him and is like, I'm gonna murder your family for losing that game. Like then you're gonna remember it.
Which is not above Urban Meyer to say.
No.
Johnny, with your theory, I mean, it wasn't a playful kick. Let's be honest. He kicked him. I mean,
no. It was out of anger.
He told his wife it was just a playful booty hole touch at the bar. You know,
That's different. That's
that
totally
one
different.
probably was playful. She might not have found it playful, but he was
No.
doing it in a playful
Photos,
mentality.
that was consensual. That was fine.
Okay.
I don't know.
Allegedly,
His wife did defend him, which is a little bizarre, but
she
She's
found money,
psycho
buddy.
too. She's psycho too.
Oh.
Yeah, what's she gonna do? Leave him?
Yeah, take him to the
take
bank.
half his money.
They might. You don't know. They might have a prenup.
Could be.
All right, let's move on to the next terrible team. But they won this weekend because they played the Panthers, the Saints. Hey Shane, I didn't watch this at all. Did Jameis, Derek Carr, or Taysom Hill play quarterback?
Derek started a little slow. It was typical Derek Carr game. Started a little slow.
How is he playing?
To be fair to Derek Carr, before the game, they were like, "Oh, he has 4 broken ribs. His wrist is split into 2. He has a cast around his neck." It's like, how is this dude on?
And he's had 2 concussions in 4 weeks.
The very definition of he should
he's
not be
playing with 4 broken ribs.
I believe they said he had 4 broken ribs.
Yeah,
okay.
something like that.
You know what? We've said a lot of slander on this podcast about Derek Carr this year, but if he has been playing with 4 broken ribs, I will take back 30% of it.
Oh,
My man's
I've
champion.
walked back.
Well, he's not a champion. He's the opposite of a champion.
Mormon or not Mormon, the dude is a tough son of a bitch.
He was tough, but he's not a champion.
I blame 85% of this on our offensive coordinator. Shit can that man. I don't care. You know, people say I don't.
Shane once again going after his offense coordinator after scoring 28 points.
Gone off on every coach they have.
This guy is Dennis Allen. They're not going to fire Dennis Allen. So give me the offensive coordinator. I mean, Lord have mercy.
You know, kill for the Chiefs to score 28 points in a game. If the Chiefs could score 28 points in a game, we'd go undefeated.
Well, golly, I don't give a flip. We can't win but 6 games, and we scored 28 points. Fire that man.
Fire the defensive coordinator, you doofus.
Hey, Dennis Allen is the defensive coordinator, and they ain't gonna fire him. They ain't gonna fire him. So
Shane,
fire the offensive. If you're running, wait, no, timeout. If it's 3rd and 8, this dipshit who I don't even know his name because who knows who he is, runs a god-darn screen 3rd and 8 every time. It reminds me eerily of a guy that coached in Texas at one time at Texas A&M University. Is a terrible head coach, terrible coach. But you know, it's 3rd and 8. Let's try and get past the down marker. I mean, it's not that big of a accomplishment. I mean,
there was broken ribs.
There was a moment in this game where Derek Carr had thrown 22 passes, but only had 31 yards, which I just find that very comical.
Fire the OC.
I mean, there's a lot of short passes, and you would think like, hey, you got. I mean, I don't even know who's healthy on the Saints. But you got Raheem Shaheed, or whatever his name is. He's fast.
Yeah,
Olave is. I mean,
everyone's healthy. Olave, Kamara.
The problem is they're too reliant on Kamara. So much of their passing game is just throwing it to him in the flat and then crossing your fingers and hoping he breaks the tackle.
But that's bad offensive scheming then, because Kamara is great, but Kamara.
I agree, but it works. Apparently, it's working.
It works
a lot of points.
The Carolina Panthers. I mean, Lord of mercy.
It worked last week too. They're on a 2-game win streak.
You're not going to change my mind, God darn it, if that's what you're trying to do here. I want the man fired.
Maybe I will. Let's go to the stat board right now. The Saints are exactly half. They are the 16th best team in scoring offense at 22 points per game.
16 don't get you nowhere but a butt whipping.
Hey, what about Eric McCoy just yelling at Derek Carr on the field?
Oh,
I love Eric McCoy, but I'll here's the deal. The past 6 weeks, who have we beat? The Colts, the Bears,
playoff team.
The Vikings. Well, we lost to the Vikings. The Falcons.
Playoff team.
The Lions. We lost to the
playoff
Lions.
Team.
Beat the Panthers. So we beat nobody. We beat the freaking Tennessee Titans in the first week of the season and the Patriots 34-0. I mean, that's not an accomplishment. Now I'm starting to wonder one of my picks, though, because I just bet with one of those teams.
That was Mac Jones playing quarterback. It's totally different. Bailey Zappi is very different.
It's just it just looks bad. That's my problem. I never thought I would take Drew Brees for granted, and I guess I took him for granted because it just looks bad. I don't think Derek Carr is a terrible quarterback. Do I think he's elite? No, but he's not terrible. He's a serviceable guy, But
he has not answered his critics this year. That's all we can say.
No, and at this rate, we've talked about this in the group chat. We don't have to pay Taysom Hill the $40 million or whatever it is. So
I mean, if that's who you think is going to play better than Derek Carr, you're wrong. He can't throw.
No, I don't think he is. But Lord have mercy, Derek Carr's playing. He might as well be wheeled out in a stretcher. So let him rest because we have to have him next year. We can't afford to lose him.
That's true.
He costs too much money. So just let him sit. There's no reason to play him. He's getting beat to hell right now. So just lose and go get another offensive lineman because McCoy's the only offensive lineman we got. He's it.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to our fourth. It's really our teams aren't very good except for one of them. And yes, I'm putting this team in the not very good. I'm gonna put them in the average category, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. They're average. I think we're ready to say that they're just an average football team. And let's just get right to the fun of it. Let's talk about more referees.
Maybe the greatest play ever.
Yeah, well, not anymore. It's dead for all of time. Now, all right. So before we talk about the referees, let's talk about
agreement on one thing.
No. Let's talk about.
But I don't know that we are.
Let's talk about Mahomes and Andy Reid, and they finally came out and said some things about the referees. And was it wrong? Yeah, it's probably wrong. Because he is offsides, so
I think that was
wrong.
Build up from just the whole season.
But yes, it's definitely a build up because out of the past 4 games that the Chiefs have played, they have lost 3 of them, and all 3 of their losses come down to quote unquote controversial referee decisions at the end of the game.
Last week was not a controversial decision.
I don't think it's controversial.
No.
Offsides.
The thing that I say that is controversial about it is that it's only been called 11 times. And if you watched the Dolphins game last night, Jalen Waddle himself lined up offsides 4 different plays in the first quarter alone, and they didn't call it once. So it's not consistently called is what's controversial. The Packers game is controversial because it's clearly a pass interference, and they don't call it. So that's the controversy.
I agree with that one.
The Eagles game, the referees were just absolutely atrocious, and so then
the Packers game, I don't even call controversial. I call it refs suck at their job. Because
that's the controversy though. So obviously it was just a bunch of buildup from that, and then of course once again it's the receiver's fault, which there's buildup from that, and Patrick Mahomes is the example of why, ladies and gentlemen, you don't let your anger build up because then you will explode and that will be bad. And so, yes, he looks bad. He's going to get fined. Take the fine. And that's on.
I actually was less, the comments was one thing. The way he went to Josh Allen after the game, I was like, okay, that
was bad. That was weak. Whatever. Yeah.
One time Josh Allen beat you, it feels like. And you brush him off like that, and literally it had nothing to do with Josh Allen. It was the refs.
That was
but also it's your own receiver lined up a yard offside.
Yeah. That was borderline loser mentality.
For sure. That's what and Mahomes has definitely lost a step this year. I don't think in talent, but I think he's definitely losing his brain because he's just like, man, I'm on a team where I am playing my butt off, and just guys keep letting me down.
I got 2 takeaways from when I was watching.
I don't know, Shane. I don't know if we're gonna be able to take any more of your takeaways because you lose it every 4 seconds.
Well, I thought he was screaming at Andy Reid at first, and I was like, "That's bold," because that's what it looked like. And then I thought
I would have been screaming at Tony.
he's been hanging around his brother and wife too much, and he needs to
Okay,
not
that
do that.
is not true, but whatever. That's just a stupid thing to say. All right,
Well,
on the incident itself, Tony definitely does point to the ref. I watched the video today. He definitely points. However, he doesn't look to see what the ref says. So that's dumb. But on the
he checked but didn't check.
he points and then immediately turns his head. So because
that's not checking it.
No, you'll see receivers do that on every play, but then they're not lined off by a mile. However, at the same time, as the ref, he does check with you. Your job is to tell him to back up, and you don't. So the ref, in my opinion, fails his job slightly. Now, is it still Tony's fault? Should it still be a flag? Yes. But
the only question is, did the ref motion?
No, I watched the whole film. The ref keeps his hands down the whole time on his flag, ready to throw it, and never yells. To which you'll hear watching Sports Center or listening to Michael Lombardi and these people out there saying it's not the ref's job to tell him to back up. Yes, it is, because Tony checked. Tony pointed. Now, is it Tony's job to also be looking? Probably. Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
it's still Tony's fault, in my opinion. It should still be a flag. I'm not saying it shouldn't be a flag.
I don't get what's going through his mind when he's lined up a yard offsides.
He's really not. I mean, his toes are at the front of the football.
If you're checking in middle school football, at least in Texas, golly, Eon, in middle school football in Texas, you're taught that the ref will tell you if you check with him, the official will tell you, "Hey, back up or shoot up."
Yeah.
But it becomes so routine.
That's the thing. It's clearly so routine but think about it. They do this play 1,000 times in a week. They line up 1,000 times with actual referees during practice and during games. And probably 99% of the time, the ref tells them nothing because they lined up properly. It's that 1% of the time that they lined up a little bit too far back or a little bit too far forward that the ref has to change them. I guarantee you, if you go through every single play from a game, the ref doesn't tell someone that they are good or not almost every single time because they line up properly. It's just Tony is an idiot and lined up improperly on an important play.
I do agree with Pat Mahomes in the sense that, if they had not called that, probably nobody even notices that he was off.
No, the Bills had no idea. The Bills weren't sitting there waiting for the flag to be thrown.
But it's at the same time, it's they don't. The ref throws the flag before they know that this crazy play just happened.
Yeah, my other thing,
because this crazy play just happened.
My other thing, if the neutral zone is so important, then let's make that more consistent across the league. Because in the Bills-Chiefs game alone, Chris Jones lines up in the neutral zone on almost every play.
Oh, yeah.
Von Miller lines up in the neutral zone on almost every play. And the neutral zone was not important on that play. On the play that Kadarius Toney is offside, Von Miller's helmet is equal with Kadarius Toney's helmet. So Von Miller is also in the neutral zone. They're both next to each other.
I think the problem was that Kadarius Toney was closer to the ref, so the ref had to look around Kadarius Toney to see anything.
I agree. They should both be penalties. That's what I'm saying. But in the pool report, Paul Cheffers and his crew are talking about, well, the neutral zone is important, and if the play is so egregious. No, it's not, because I found at least 4 plays that Chris Jones's shoulder pads were even with the football, not even his helmet, and they didn't call him on those plays.
Will Kadarius Toney be on an NFL team next year?
No.
Yeah, he'll be on Chiefs.
Did he sign a multi-year deal?
No, we just need wide receivers.
He is so bad at football, it's unbelievable.
He's really not, though. If you watch the first half of that game, the game plan was clearly to give him the ball, and he had a ton of yards.
He just does stupid shit.
He just is sometimes an idiot. I mean, Kadarius Toney wins the Chiefs the Super Bowl.
Yes. He just dropped so many balls.
He has also lost the Chiefs 2 games now.
Yeah.
And I can't stand seeing him on the sidelines. He looks like a
serial killer.
He looks like he's been mummified.
Yeah. No matter what temperature it is, he's wearing the ski mask with the nose ring. He's definitely got CTE. He's got Antonio Brown disease for sure.
Oh, he'll go full diva at some point.
But he doesn't have Antonio Brown's talent is the problem.
Antonio Brown had a career to stand on. He'll go full diva at some point. He may rip off all of his clothes and walk off the field.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. The other thing that I love about this game, I love the Chiefs being the bad guys of the NFL, though. Everyone wants to hate the Chiefs, and I love it. Bring it on. Let's do the things. It's great.
I for some reason get this feeling that the Chiefs have gotten screwed in multiple games in the regular season,
and yet right now the social media and the thing is that the Chiefs still get all the calls, and I don't know how you can say that over the past 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I agree, but I also have this weird feeling that it's like setting them up to take care of all their issues in the regular season.
No, it won't happen.
And then they're gonna go on a run in the postseason.
If maybe they would have got it fixed by like the first 8 weeks, but not now.
I
don't think they have enough skill players.
Shane, the receivers are never open. The Chiefs receivers are never open. Sky Moore runs the wrong route every play. He's never running the right route. Which is why he never steps on the field. Kadarius Toney is good for, a couple good plays and a couple horrendous plays. Teams know that all you have to do now is double Travis Kelce on every play. And then Rashee Rice will have a couple great plays, but then he's also going to drop one every game, and he's not good at holding on to the ball, so he fumbles.
I have PTSD from Tom Brady. I've learned to take for granted the greats, and Patrick Mahomes is a great, and
but Tom Brady was never coming in barely above 500.
Tom Brady also had elite defenses.
Can I take y'all back?
Chiefs do have an elite defense.
Let's go back on a journey to 2012, right? Or like somewhere in that range. Steph Curry goes to the Warriors. Everyone loves the Warriors because they've been so bad for so long. Yeah. 2017, 2018, everyone hates them. The Chiefs are the exact same thing.
And I mean, it's the same thing with the Patriots acting like whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're always going to hate the team that is consistent. Everyone loves the Bengals because Joe Burrow is this underdog who won the Heisman and the national championship. But Mahomes, who was a nobody quarterback at Texas Tech, but like everyone loves them, or everybody loves Josh Allen because he's just a good guy who plays for a good team in Buffalo.
They win 2 Super Bowls. Everyone will hate them too.
It's everyone's gonna hate whoever is the end team. And watch, if it keeps going, everyone's gonna start to hate the Eagles, the Niners. I mean, everyone hates the Cowboys except for the only people that like the Cowboys. Everyone else hates the Cowboys.
Everyone hates the Eagles too.
People. The media loves the Eagles, but the media doesn't love the Chiefs except for a couple guys. Like Nick Wright loves the Chiefs.
Nick Wright thinks, that dude, he's almost annoying because it's like no matter what happens, it's like, told y'all the Chiefs would do X, Y, and Z. And it's like,
but everybody else, I wouldn't say they hate the Chiefs, but the problem is it's the same thing with like Lionel Messi in soccer. Mahomes at the beginning of his career did so many amazing things that the standard for him is now unreal and unmatchable, to where now when he plays a good game, but it's just good, if he throws for 250 yards and 2 picks, that's for him considered a bad game, even though that's a very good game in the NFL.
And Tommy DeVito throws for 160 and he's like a world beater.
Correct. Right. So like Mahomes has this unlivable standard to live up to, and so do the Chiefs.
It's no one knows how to appreciate greatness anymore. That's the problem. Yeah. Just appreciate it. I look, the Saints suck. The Aggies suck. At this point, I'm like, I just want to sit back and watch some good football. I want to appreciate good football. If people could do that, just appreciate it. It's okay.
Watch the 49ers and the Cowboys then, and no other teams, because no one else is playing good football consistently.
Yeah, so there's very little good football being played.
You sound like Tom Brady.
A lot of bad football.
True.
I mean, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are definitely right.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that there's like 10 injured quarterbacks. But.
No, it doesn't help that every team is just now getting these coaches who are good at Madden and are not good coaches.
I feel some Mike McDaniel slander coming on.
We'll talk about him later. I mean, Shane, the Tennessee Titans were the first team in NFL history to be down 14 points with 2 minutes and 55 seconds left and win the game without overtime.
I would just
first team ever.
That's
I
a
turned
tough
that
look.
game off when the Dolphins went up 14 because I was like, oh, it's over.
Yep.
And I woke up in the middle of the night and was like, what the heck?
He's not a good coach. He's a good coordinator. He's not a good coach.
I don't condone using your phone and driving, but I was driving to work and got on ESPN to check scores and said, Miami lost this football game?
Same with the Packers. Nick Sirianni is not a good football coach. He's not a good head coach. He is a good coordinator or hype man or whatever. He's a good Italian. That's what he's got going on for him. He's not a good head coach.
The Italians are having a moment right now, so
we need more Italians. It's proven.
It's true.
I don't need to see grown men kissing on the sidelines.
Yeah,
let's make it to our final of our team, the only team that is actually any good. The currently winning the NFC East, Dallas Cowboys.
I'm all in.
They're a good football team.
I mean, that was an absolute butt kicking.
I still am a little nervous. For some reason, I just don't trust him. But Dak.
We'll find out this. We're going to find out this weekend. The Dallas so far has only beat one team over 500, and they only win their games by a lot at home. They're really good at home this year. This week they play Buffalo in Buffalo, so we're gonna find out this week if the boys are the boys.
Hey,
I think we've turned the page here. Dak should be the MVP, and unless it's going to Tyreek after last night, other than that, it's going to Dak.
I hate to say this, take a saying from another team, but this does not seem like the same old Cowboys. This seems like a different Cowboys.
Oh, this seems exactly like the same old Cowboys.
No,
they're clicking in the regular season. They look like barn burners, and then they just fall apart in the playoffs.
Last year was the same thing. We ended up
Dak just looks a little different.
Shane, last season they had the number one offense in the NFL.
Yeah, but a lot of those were what's it called? Late in games, just airing it out. Like
I will say I don't have any stats to back this up. It feels like Dak is not turning the ball over as much.
Yeah,
he definitely is not. Last year I think he threw 16 picks. I think this year he only had like 5.
Yeah, I think that's the big difference. But they still only beat one.
Hey, you play who you play. I mean, right now is where the Cowboys get to the gauntlet part of their schedule.
Yeah, they're about to have quite a schedule to finish off the season.
The Cowboys previously, it seemed like a lot of their offense was garbage time. That's the word I was looking for.
I mean, not really. They won a lot of football games last year.
No, but just the bulk of their offense was garbage time, it seems like.
Yeah.
Do you call that garbage time?
Yeah.
Or things away.
Tomato. The Cowboys end the season with at Buffalo, at Miami, and back-to-back weeks. Which is not the most ideal. And then Detroit at home, which they're great at home, and Detroit's defense. I mean, the Cowboys might score 70 in that game. We might have 2 games where they score 70 points this year. And then at the Commanders, who will be dead by that point in time. So they realistically, their goal is they need to win out because the Eagles will win out.
Yeah, the Eagles' schedule gets easy, don't it?
I still think.
Honestly, I think even if the Cowboys win out, if the Eagles also win out, the Eagles win a tiebreaker.
What becomes tiebreaker? Is it division?
It's conference games, and because they lost to the Cardinals, the Cowboys lose that. I think the Eagles get the number 1 seed if they win out, or they get the NFC East if they win out.
The Eagles losses the Jets, Cowboys, and who they lose.
And really, the best team that the Eagles play left this season is the Seahawks. So.
And the Cowboys are leading the division, and I believe they still only have a 26% chance of winning the division, according to ESPN analytics.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely the games are harder, but I think even if the Cowboys win out, if the Eagles win out, then they win the division.
I do think that the Eagles are liable to drop one. I don't think they're that good.
I mean, their last 4 games are Seahawks, Giants, Cardinals, Giants.
Is it home?
Seahawks away. So, that's what I'm saying. Your best case is that the Seahawks snatch a victory from the Eagles because there's no way they're losing to the Giants or the Cardinals. Ain't no way.
But isn't the Seahawks this weekend?
It's this weekend.
And Drew Lock is playing quarterback, no?
So that's not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, worst case, I'm going to a playoff game in Atlanta and watching the Cowboys.
What the Cowboys have faith in is that the Eagles secondary is maybe the worst in football, and the Seahawks can throw a ball.
The Eagles' defense is getting worse by week.
And honestly, I think the Cowboys' defense is as well.
Oh, I agree. I think Deron Bland.
They're not getting any pressure on the quarterback anymore.
Michael Parsons is dead. Deron Bland was getting all this hype because he keeps getting pick sixes. They haven't even let him cover. They're not even letting him cover like good receivers anymore.
I hype up Deron Bland for the rest of the season, no matter what, because he set an NFL record for pick sixes.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
He gets all the hype, even if he's getting burned for 200 yards a game. I'm giving him hype.
DK showed us he's getting burned.
Now, I might be very specific with my hype, like Deron Bland is the best corner at a 5-yard out route in NFL history. Like, that might be the hype I'm giving him, instead of him being actually good at his job. But I will hype him up for setting that record.
So
that's all I got. He has great closing speed.
So barring injury, are the 49ers just cruising to a Super Bowl, right?
There's no cruising for a Super Bowl.
There's no cruising.
They still got to play the games.
I still don't trust Brock Purdy in the playoffs.
I trust.
Liable to tear UCO.
He's a lunch pail type of guy.
No, I just don't ever. And maybe I don't trust Kyle Shanahan in the playoffs, because every year it feels like that we go into the playoffs saying the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in football and should win the Super Bowl, and every year they don't win it.
Well, last year I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on last year.
Okay, still, I mean, they were not going to win that game. The Eagles were all over them in that first quarter. They didn't stand a chance.
They had one quarterback that couldn't think straight, and they had one quarterback that his arm didn't work.
And then the year before that, they got injured. The year before that was the year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
But we talked about this. Is this Kyle Shanahan? He doesn't know how to practice. He runs his guys down. I mean.
No, I don't. I mean, a lot of times it is injuries, but a lot of times it's not injuries. I just don't think he can handle the pressure, or he doesn't game in right.
How did his dad do in playoffs?
I mean, he won a Super Bowl with the Broncos with John Elway, did he not?
He won one Super Bowl, but didn't he go into most? I mean, didn't he have pretty damn good teams every year?
I mean, yeah, the Broncos had a Hall of Fame quarterback, so that usually helps. Let's see, playoff record for Mike Shanahan. He's 8-6 in the postseason.
See, that's not great.
What was his overall record?
I mean, to be fair, he was. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, he was with the Redskins. Like, how many of those games were with the Redskins where they weren't very good? I don't know.
Yeah, but part of that's his fault. I mean,
if you become the coach of a bad team, like
it's the Washington Commanders, Austin.
In 2010 to 2013, they were called the Redskins. So no, he was not ever the coach of the Commanders.
The Washington Cucks.
All right, let's get to the quick hit section. We're running late, so let's go through and just like real quick. We owe the NFL an apology. Patriots Steelers was a way better game than we said it was going to be. So you know what? Hand up. It was a good game.
It was a good game. Shocking.
I apologize, Goodall.
All right, that's on that. Next, the Texans Jets game. That game was 0-0 at halftime, and still hit the over. That's just amazing.
Zach Wilson took it personally.
They had an immaculate half in the first half. Every single possession ended in a punt.
I wish the entire game was just punts. That would have been awesome.
CJ Stroud, so good football player.
I mean, MetLife Field just destroyed the Texans season.
Yeah, the Texans are too injured. They were a good story. They're dead.
Yeah, without Tank Dell and Nico Collins, they don't stand a chance.
But watch them in the future. I'm scared of them.
No, this is the perfect season.
Shoot, we might see.
They showed some.
Yeah, it is.
Now they're gonna lose every game,
and they could end up with a good draft pick.
They're gonna get a good draft pick.
Yep.
What else could you want?
Do they have Cardinals draft pick?
I don't.
Who has the Cardinals draft pick?
I think it is the Texans. I think it is.
Or is it the opposite? Or is it the Cardinals have the Texans draft pick?
No, because they got rid of D-Hop.
I don't know.
We'll talk drafts in after the season. It's still too early for that nonsense. All right.
I don't fear the Texans turning it into the. No.
All right. What's going on with the Browns? Why is Joe Flacco not the starting quarterback? I don't get it. Can someone make it make sense to me?
No,
He is now.
no.
They said he was a
Okay,
starting quarterback,
Okay.
but then he put on the practice squad.
No,
That
it is until he signs a long-term deal for the rest of the year. He has to go back on the practice squad by Monday.
But then couldn't another team sign him?
No, he has to
They
accept it.
can.
Okay.
Yeah, they can't sign him. Yes.
And he's just saying, I'm going to keep playing.
Schefter said he wants to be in
Okay,
Cleveland.
there you go. Well, Joe Flacco is the guy. Good for them.
Yeah, hey, what a that dude
What
was
a
on his couch
baller.
3 weeks
I mean, is
ago.
he like 41, 42?
He's gotta be.
He's up there.
I don't know. He's a lunch pail type of guy.
I do like the idea, though, of him being on the practice squad. But now that the Steelers need a quarterback, going to the Steelers, and then going to the Bengals because they need a quarterback. Because I love the idea of Joe Flacco playing for every single team in the AFC North.
Joe Flacco on the practice squad is hilarious in itself because he's 41 years old. What are you practicing at this point?
Yeah. No, he's showing the other players, here's how we practice.
Well, what got me, like Austin was saying, is before yesterday, I thought if you were on practice squad, say the Steelers said, hey, Joe Flacco, we want you, you have to go. I didn't know it was like you got to
like
choose.
a waiver situation.
Yeah, and that's where I was confused. I was like, if I'm the Steelers, I'm calling Joe Flacco and say, hey, buddy, you're getting on the next
trade. I'm signing him and I'm sitting him for the week. I'm not even letting him play. I'm just just taking him so that they can't have him.
Yeah.
It's like in fantasy football, like when you see like the guy you're going up against next week lost their running back, and then you just go hit the waiver wire and take all the running backs so that he can't.
Yeah.
That's how I thought it worked, but evidently I was wrong.
The Browns might win a playoff game with Joe Flacco.
It depends. The Browns are really, really bad on the road.
That's true. But not
game's got to be in Cleveland, and they're probably not going to win their division.
Maybe not with Joe Flacco.
Hey, but one thing is that $230 million guaranteed ain't looking so good right about now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely not.
What a mistake.
Hey, speaking of mistakes,
best agent ever.
Massages?
No, the Los Angeles Chargers are mistakes. They're just football. And they're just letting the Broncos hang around. The Broncos are only one game back of the Chiefs in the AFC West.
Broncos are another team that's figuring it out.
I mean, the Broncos will win every single game they have left. If you look at their schedule, it's ridiculous. Now, the Chiefs should also win out. So it should be fine. And I do believe that the Chiefs own the tiebreaker over the Broncos.
But the
Broncos lost so much.
The Chiefs, I think, would need to lose twice, and the Broncos would have to go undefeated. The Broncos play at Detroit, and that's their last game of any difficulty. Then they play Patriots, Chargers without Justin Herbert, and then they play the worst team to ever watch in the history of football, the Las Vegas Raiders.
0 points.
All right, moving on. Let's talk Monday Night Football. Besides the Dolphins lining up in the neutral zone a bunch of times and blowing a lead, good for the Titans, and Will Levis definitely had to get drug tested because he looked like he was on roids.
Dude is jacked.
I didn't see it. I saw like a video of him running off the last touchdown.
His veins were going crazy. He was losing his mind. I think we might have to look out for him being on some steroids.
He might bring Mayo into the mainstream.
He might not be on steroids, but HGH for sure. I mean, that's a guarantee.
Also, once again, we kind of already talked about. We proved Tyreek Hill's the MVP of the league. The Dolphins are terrible with that. It's just like they just dead. All right, and finally, the Packers Giants. We already hit on it. Tommy DeVito is a legend. We love him on this. When are we going to get Joe Pesci at a game?
Could happen next week.
We need Joe Pesci at the game. And then I just want like someone to like mic up Joe Pesci and go talk to Tommy DeVito's dad and be like, "Hey, did you name him after me in Goodfellas? Like we all know you did. Like we all know you named him after me in Goodfellas."
If I'm Tommy DeVito, I'm retiring after the season because every time he goes to his neighborhood bar, he's going to be talk of that place.
Free drinks show.
If Tommy DeVito retires this season at the end of the year and Justin Herbert plays the rest of a normal quarterback's career, Tommy DeVito would still have a higher win percentage than Justin Herbert.
And
you know what's crazy? 4 weeks ago, we were talking about the fact that Tommy DeVito didn't know how to throw a football.
He doesn't. He still doesn't, but he knows how to run the ball.
Yesterday.
He did, but he also a lot of it was his legs.
Yeah, he also threw some ugly balls too. But
the dude could run the greatest trash can racketeer in the state of New York currently.
Sanitation. He'll be in sanitation for sure.
All
right, and that's gonna do it. Go ahead.
I love the Italians, but kissing another dude. I mean, I don't even know if I've ever kissed my dad. I mean, it's just weird, just a weird look.
I can't decide if the agent is playing up the whole situation or what.
It's fake. It's got to be fake.
He literally looks like Rocky in Rocky 1.
There's pictures of him from like 5 years ago wearing the same thing. It's just what he does.
He's a bizarre.
It's a very New York thing. If you walk around New York City, you'll see a few guys
I think
like
maybe
that.
he's still doing it as like a bit based off of like the stereotype of New York. But
did y'all see their tailgate before the game? There must have been 1,000 people at their tailgate.
Yes,
dude, and they party hard.
His mom looks exactly like how I would expect an Italian mom to look.
And I love his uncle walking around with a cigar all the time. It's freaking fantastic.
They're good for the memes. We appreciate the DeVitos for giving us something to talk about.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, enjoy your 15 minutes of shame.
I said it weeks ago. We need more Italians in the NFL. We just need more Italians.
There's plenty of Italians in the NFL, I feel like.
Just look at the Eagles sideline. They all have it on their hats.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I just can't tell if I hate or love that agent. I really can't tell.
I love him.
You know what? We'll get some new evidence this weekend because Tommy DeVito will be starting at quarterback again.
He reminds me of a cooler version of my Uncle Tony. So I like him. I like it a lot.
Uncle Tony. All right.
Uncle Tony's a little weird. So
let's wrap it up with our playoff predictions. Okay.
Uncle Tony's gonna put you in a river.
Starting in the AFC, I think we can say beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, Jags, and probably the Browns are all in the playoffs. All of them have 8 wins. Maybe not the Browns. The Browns have Joe Flacco, so they're probably going to win the Super Bowl. So then the discussion we have is there are 6 teams tied at 7-6. The Steelers, the Colts, Texans, Broncos, Bengals, and the Bills. You get to pick 2 of them. I'll read them again. Which of these 2 teams makes it in? The Steelers, Colts, Texans, Broncos, Bengals, Bills. Just top of your head. Who are you feeling?
Denver and Buffalo.
And I think that is where I'm going as well.
What I was going to say.
I like the idea of Jake Brown making the playoffs. I just don't see it.
I've got Denver and Cleveland.
They're not one of the 5. They're already.
Cleveland was not one of the 6, but yeah, Cleveland's going to make them.
Yeah, never mind. Sorry. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, baby. Don't count out Mike Tomlin.
Shane's lost.
I mean, I meant Denver and Pittsburgh. Denver and Pittsburgh. Gee whiz.
Pittsburgh can't score the ball.
The question is, I know that he's out this week, but when does Kenny Pickett come back? Can he come back next weekend? Because then, Kenny Pickett's been all right.
I just don't think they can score the ball.
No.
I just don't want to count out Mike Tomlin. I meant to say Pittsburgh.
No, they're going 2-2, so they're going to be 9-8. But the problem is the other teams are going to go 3-1, 4-0.
All right, and then in the NFC, I think it's safe to say the Niners, Cowboys, Lions, Eagles are all guaranteed to make playoffs. But then from there, we have first, let's have the discussion of the NFC South. Currently, it's the Bucs. Next week, it'll probably be the Saints. The week after that, it'll probably be the Falcons. All 3 of those teams are still in it. Who wins the NFC South? Because the other ones are all eliminated.
I'm taking the Falcons.
Who that?
Okay.
Who that said them Saints?
I definitely don't think it's the Bucks. I also think it'll be the Falcons, but I really just don't like Desmond Ridder. I think if they put Heineke in immediately, they'll win it. But they keep putting Desmond Ridder in at quarterback. Okay. From there, we have 4 teams fighting for 2 spots. They are the Vikings, the Packers, the Rams, and the Seahawks. Who would be your 2 teams that get in out of those 4 teams?
I'm going to take the Packers and the Rams.
I think I would agree with Blake on that one as well. I think
again?
that the Vikings, Packers, Rams, and Seahawks.
The whatchamacallit? The Vikings have ditched their quarterback for.
Yeah, Nick Mullins is playing for the Vikings, so they're done. Even though the Vikings defense is awesome this year, they literally just shut out a team after a bye week. Good for them. But I mean, it's not really saying that much because the Raiders do suck. All right. The Seahawks schedule, I think, is just too brutal.
Yeah, I mean, don't they have the Cowboys, Eagles?
Yeah,
I think they still have to play the Niners too.
Eagles and Niners.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like it's rough.
I thought they played the Niners twice already this season.
It's possible. Hold on.
They got
right
Eagles. Oh, never mind. Eagles, Titans, Steelers, Seahawks. Or Cardinals. Golly, I might have a seizure. I'm gonna take the Rams and the Seahawks. Is that possible? Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. I'm still taking the Rams over. Well, that's actually how many times do the Rams still have to play the Niners? Because that might be a big difference. The Rams still have to play the Niners, so that might. Maybe I will take. How long is Geno out for? Because Drew Lock ain't getting it done. I'll take Matthew Stafford over Drew Lock every day of the week.
No one said anything about how long.
Did Geno go on the IR?
Oh, if he's on the IR, he's basically done.
No,
I don't know.
That is unclear for the Eagles game.
Okay. Well, I thought that they basically said Drew Lock is starting at quarterback. So
yeah, it sounds like probably.
Okay. That's going to do it for us this week, everyone. Oh, just kidding. We haven't started talking about gambling yet. Let's gamble. Hey, last week we all sucked. How about that? That's our last week. Blake put up a solid 0 for 3. I think the rest of us all went 1 and 2. So not great. But this week, this is the week. Let me tell you, the boys feel very confident because we have a lot of the same picks. Just for the sake of time, because we're pushing an hour and a half, I'm just going to read them off here. We have 3 of us are taking the Falcons -3 with Blake, Jonathan, and I. Falcons -3 against the Panthers because the Panthers, they won their one game and now they've given up. We also have 3 of us taking the Cowboys +2.5 with Blake, Shane, and I. So Blake and I on a lot of the same picks this week. Other picks that are the same. Shane and I are on the Patriots +9.5. In Foxborough with the Lighthouse against the Chiefs who can't score points. We already saw it. We didn't talk about the unders that we wanted to talk about. Also, there's some unders that are just, you got to take them. You got the Steelers playing the Colts over under 42. That's an under. You got the Chiefs playing the Patriots over under 37. That's an under. Just take it. Okay, it's guaranteed. That's that. Our other picks that we hadn't read out yet, Blake also has the Eagles -4 against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seahawks. Shane has Jacksonville State -3.5 in our first bowl game pick of the week. And then Jonathan took Texas Tech -2.5. And then the Fighting Brownings of the Bengals -3.5. And boom. That'll do it. We did it. Okay, a bit longer of a podcast this week, but, we had some ref talk to get in there, and Tommy DeVito is a legend, so we want to talk about him as well. And you know what? That's going to do it for us this week. We appreciate all the support. I can't believe that we haven't used this as our send-off for the past 2 years, but I finally figured out what our send-off should be at the end of every episode. No. In true the 4 of us fashion, we'll just tell y'all to go out there and make good choices, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Make good choices.
Always.